Welcome to today's explainer. I want to kick things off by speaking directly to a very specific, kind of quiet exhaustion that I know so many of you watching right now are carrying around. You definitely know the feeling. You go out of your way for people. You answer the second they call. You stay quiet when you probably, definitely should speak up. And you force a smile when something actually really hurts. And somehow, despite all of that endless giving, the people you do the absolute most for seem to respect you the least. It's totally draining, isn't it? Well, today we're going to look at exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how to permanently change it. So let's dive right in. I want you to let this hard truth sink in for a second, okay? Everyone around you knows exactly how far they can push you. Seriously, people are incredibly observant when it comes to boundaries. They know exactly who they can interrupt in a meeting. They know who's going to accept a last-minute cancellation without a fuss. They know who will reply to that ridiculous midnight work email. But here's the second part of that truth, and this is the kicker. You taught them. It's not your overbearing boss. It's not your demanding family. It's not that flaky friend who always cancels on you at the absolute last minute. Actually, it's you. Now, please hear me when I say this. This is not an insult at all. In fact, it is literally the most empowering thing you'll hear in our entire session today. Because think about it. If you set the precedent, you have the power to change it. But it still hurts, right? I mean, you've probably looked around and watched other people. People who maybe aren't even that smart or honestly aren't even that kind. Yet people treat them totally differently. No one steps on them. No one tests them. No one demands instant replies from them at all hours of the night. And you're just left sitting there, the nice, constantly available overgiver, asking yourself this really painful question. Why not me? Well, that brings us right to section 1, the paradigm shift. It's time to completely rewrite the rules. Here is a huge secret that nobody told you. Respect is not some reward given out to the nicest person in the room. It's not handed to the most helpful, the most available, or the person who never says no. It follows an entirely different rule. In literally every room you enter, there are two types of people. You've got thermometers and you've got thermostats. A thermometer simply reads the temperature and adjusts itself. It just reflects whatever energy is around it. If someone is rude, its temperature drops. If someone tests it, it bends. It has no baseline of its own, it just constantly responds. But a thermostat is a completely different ballgame. A thermostat sets the temperature. It doesn't care if there's a blizzard or a heat wave outside. It simply holds its number. And the entire room is forced to adjust to it. So I really want you to ask yourself honestly right now, which one are you currently being? Let's move on to section 2, the mechanics of disrespect. We need to talk about absorbing bad behavior. Think back for a second to the last time someone crossed a line with you. Maybe they spoke to you like you didn't matter, or they took your kindness and just blatantly used it. And in that moment, you said absolutely nothing. Then, hours later, you're sitting all alone, replaying the scenario on a loop. You think of like 10 perfect things you should have said. You feel this hot flash of anger, then a wave of guilt, until it finally settles into this quiet, heavy feeling in your gut. That heavy feeling, that isn't a sign of personal weakness. It is the literal physical sensation of what happens when your reaction in a moment completely fails to match your internal worth. It's just your body telling you that you sold yourself short. And what's really wild is what was actually happening during that moment of disrespect. The other person wasn't just talking. They were actively reading you. They were gathering data to answer a few key questions. How long before you pull away? How much can I get away with before you finally push back? And what can I say or do and still keep you sticking around? Every single time you absorb bad behavior, every time you laugh off a subtle insult or stay totally silent or eagerly explain yourself to someone who doesn't even deserve the explanation, you are answering these questions for them. You are setting your own price tag. And frankly, you're setting it way too low. But here is exactly where we flip the script. Welcome to section 3, the power of stillness. This is the really empowering twist where we learn how to actually fix this dynamic without losing who you are as a fundamentally good person. But first things first, let's quickly knock down what absolutely doesn't work, the false solutions. Look, you do not fix a lack of respect by suddenly becoming aggressive. You don't fix it by turning into this cold, bitter person. You don't need to build massive emotional walls. And you definitely don't need to stand in the mirror rehearsing these long, dramatic speeches to defend your boundaries. You just don't have to become someone you're not to gain the respect you deserve. The actual, real answer? Become completely unbothered. This is the true superpower of the thermostat we were talking about earlier. A thermostat doesn't fight the cold air. It doesn't argue with the draft. It certainly doesn't try to explain itself to the room. It just calmly, quietly, and without a single apology holds its temperature. Okay, so how do we practically do this in real life? We use what we call the unbothered shift. Step 1. Stop reacting to disrespect with anxiety. Just stop that frantic, panicked need to fix the awkwardness. Step 2. Respond with stillness. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't get louder just because someone isn't hearing you. And step 3, and this is absolutely crucial, withdraw warmth. It requires no drama, no lengthy, exhausting explanations, and zero anger. You simply provide less of yourself. You just make yourself way less available to someone who has just shown they don't know how to value you. And when you execute that perfectly calm, deliberate, unbothered silence, it communicates a message so much louder than any shouting match ever could. It says, I don't need this. But the absolute magic of this sentence is that you never actually say it out loud. It is intensely, physically felt by the other person in the room. It is the ultimate, uncrossable boundary. So let's bring this all home with Section 4, Setting the Standard. Remember, you hold the dial. I want to pause and reassure you of something right now. You are not too sensitive. You are not too much, and you are absolutely not broken just because you want to be treated well by the people around you. You just temporarily forgot that you're the one holding the dial. So starting today, not tomorrow, not after you give them just one more chance, when someone treats you like an option, you must actively flip the script and treat them like a choice, your choice. And you can absolutely choose to just step back. Going forward, this has to be your new standard. Number 1, don't explain your boundaries. They are yours, they are perfectly valid, end of story. Number 2, don't ever apologize for having high standards for how you are treated. And number 3, stop shrinking yourself to keep someone else comfortable. Seriously, why on earth are you making yourself small for someone who was never, ever uncomfortable making you small? I want to leave you with one definitive, powerful thought to anchor everything we've talked about in this explainer today. The room adjusts to the thermostat, not the other way around. It is time to stop reacting to the weather that everyone else is bringing into your life. Set your own emotional climate. The very next time someone tests your boundaries, I want you to ask yourself, will you reflect their chaos or will you set the temperature? Become the thermostat. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.